On today's show, the bright side of dandelions and thistle. This lady sees potential in what most folks see as yard weeds.
Sour.
An old building gets new life in one Minnesota valley. This destination comes with plenty of fishy summer fun.
It's the magic right there.
And we take a scenic walk in the park.
Minnesota Bound, presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Hey everybody, Laura and I welcome you to Minnesota Bound.
You know, most people don't dream of having weeds take over their grassy lawns.
Yeah, but we met one woman who thinks plants, not weeds, are nature's gift.
As they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Many cringe at the idea of their lawn being taken over by dandelions and other foreign greenery.
You know, things that people call weeds in their garden are easy to identify because we know to pull them out, or sometimes things are getting pulled out, but we really don't know what it is.
When Betsy Nelson sees unique flora growing in her lawn or garden, it's invited to stay.
I find that learning about plants that has rekindled that childlike sense of awe for me about the natural world.
In awe that nature provides plants that are a powerhouse of nutrition.
Another common weed that is up in the garden that a lot of us pull out is lamb's quarter. It's really mineral rich, and it's higher in nutrition than spinach. I mean, this right here, superfood. You could just go out, weed your garden, sub this for spinach. Fantastic.
Also fantastic are weedy plants that taste like fruit.
This is pineapple weed. Why is it called pineapple weed? It has a very pineapple-y aroma. When a bunch of them are flowering, I'll just pop their little yellow heads off, make a little tea. It's in the chamomile sort of family, so yeah, it's gotta be good for you.
Good for you indeed. In fact, Betsy's backyard is a full-grown medicine cabinet.
This is kind of like my medicinal plants area. I've got a lot of lemon balm. I add it to my herbal bug spray that I make just for the nice smell. And it's like a great herbal remedy for cold sores. Well, so this may be a familiar friend too. It's commonly known here in the Midwest as Creeping Charlie. I feel like Creeping Charlie is kind of like a mean name. Its Latin name is Glechoma hederaceae, but it's actually in the mint family. Creeping Charlie is really medicinal for congested sinuses, congested lungs.
Who knew? Besides foraging in her yard, Betsy enjoys sharing her passion by taking others on plant walks in the woods.
I think it's really important when you're learning about plants that you would be foraging for food or gathering for medicine to just start small, because it's really easy to get overwhelmed. If you're new to this, bring something that helps tell you what things are. Here is like a glorious patch of woodland nettles, and this type of nettle does sting, but it has a totally different flavor. If I'm cooking, I prefer it, and in fact, I make a nettle cake. That's delicious. Nettles all have like so many minerals, so it's good for if you're feeling a little depleted.
Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. Once it's picked, and you're not sure how to prepare it, Betsy offers classes.
I teach Ayurvedic cooking to yoga teacher trainees. I am making chimichurri, which is basically like a chimichurri sauce. This is a real easy way to use this lovely herb. Yeah, so you can imagine like if you had a bunch of grilled vegetables or some chicken or fish or steak. It's just a nice little finishing condiment.
The end goal with her love of plants is she hopes that others can appreciate what nature has to offer.
It's more of like a respect for nature approach. And I do want to help like people break through the green wall. So when you learn about a plant that is abundant and prolific, it does kind of seem like nature is saying, here, I will offer you this gift.
A gift from nature that may not be seen as beautiful, but certainly is bountiful.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems, North Dakota Tourism, Star Bank, and by All Seasons Garage Door.
Up next, the story of a camp where fishing and history go hand in hand. It's funny how life mirrors moving water, full of twists and turns and surprises around every bend.
Yeah, people say we live in the boonies, but I don't think so.
Cindy and Jim Berg long ago chose a quiet life in the Winnebago Valley.
Couldn't be better. Better in the cities, I can tell you that. We farmed our whole life down here.
A few years back, the creek and this valley threw the Bergs a twist. The story starts with their purchase of the property just upstream, a piece home to this sad-looking structure.
When I walked in there, I just thought all that woodwork was too neat.
A slowly disintegrating grain mill built just before Abraham Lincoln became U.S. president. The building, part of what once was the town of Winnebago.
That was the schoolhouse, that building there. This was the upper mill, and they had a sawmill, blacksmith shop down there. Our house was the post office.
The mill processed locally grown grain, but a rail line never came to Winnebago. Wheat farming dried up, and the mill went silent.
1855 it started, 1930 it was all over.
The building sat abandoned 77 years.
When I walked in here, these beams were all hanging down, and that whole wall over there had collapsed in.
Jim and Cindy's gears turned.
I thought it was treasure.
They got to work.
We thought it was treasure, but we knew that it's going to take quite a bit of money to finish it. And luckily, we had 2-3 good years of farming.
7 years we worked on it.
But the wood was all full of dirt, dust, birds.
It had
It had to be
literally a
cleaned.
1/4 inch of just dry, old, filthy dirt.
7 years of sweat and equity led to this. A building full of 150 years of history and a suddenly bright future.
In 1895, this place was valued at
$1,900.
$1,900.
The mill sits along Winnebago Creek. A big bonus for guests who might like to try and catch a trout or 2 or 3.
Oh,
See, Winnebago fishes differently than most Minnesota spots.
did that look like a big fish? Jeez, it's every cast. Oh, thank you.
Look closely. See the fish? Winnebago meanders far away from crowds.
There's one that keeps moving in and out. He's on the gravel right now. Just moved up a little bit.
Oh yeah, there he is, yeah.
Angler Jonas Plum fishes with a nickname, the Natural,
Yeah.
a guy who can call in fish.
Oh, there he comes. Oh, oh, oh,
Although getting them to bite seems tricky today.
oh.
Well, you can see a lot, but you gotta catch them as well.
There's another one.
Gosh, they just come out of nowhere.
Yep, brought it down, crank. Boom. Nice fish. Boom, got him. Nice job. There you go, Nonas.
There is magic in these fish and this water, this place. Maybe it's the history or the fact that fishing this creek comes with guarantees.
That is the magic right there.
The twists and turns of life led us to this valley and this mill. An old place where people can now renew spirits.
They put a lot of work into the interior design of it, and you know, it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful place. The mill is fantastic, but it's the whole property. It's beautiful down here.
Still ahead, nature produces the music for this composer. But first, we take a walk in the park, a place where bird watching is at the top of the list.
Closed captioning provided by Treasure Island Resort and Casino.
It's time to take a walk in the park. This time we're headed to Frontenac, a storied park just a hop and a skip south from the Twin Cities.
Frontenac State Park is in the transition zone between the prairies of the west and the hardwood forests of the east. And because it's in this transition zone, there's a constant struggle between trees and prairie.
We're kind of a hidden gem in the Minnesota State Park system. We're in the southeastern region that is so easily accessible by so many people. It's close to the cities, it's close to Rochester.
It's really just kind of tucked away. Not a lot of people know about us yet. I love that there's such a diverse habitat here for all the species of flora and fauna.
From savanna, prairie. We have the bluffs, we have lakes, creeks, ponds, streams.
So it offers just a myriad of opportunities.
It's really just a special park in that aspect.
We just made some new acquisitions, and that puts the park acreage up to about 2,500, 2,600 acres.
Our trail system is 13 miles for hiking. We have various difficulties of trails, so because of our location on the bluffs, we have different elevation gains.
So we are at the Indiantiopa Rock, which is a natural limestone arch with a hole in the middle. So Indiantiopa is the name, which stands for rock with opening in the Dakota language. This is one of our most popular destinations. People want to come and see it. I can see why. It is a striking formation.
So this part of the park is our floodplain forest. You have a lot of diversity as far as the flora and the fauna here. The river will flood and the soil will become inundated. The water will come as high as the boardwalk here. So we're at the end of the Sandpoint Trail. A lot of people come down here to check out the beach area. But the end of the point is actually visible from the bluff overlook at the picnic area in the main part of the park. So behind us we see Wells Creek, which runs through the park. The creek is important not only because it brings fresh water to wildlife, it's also important geographically. Wells Creek carries sediments down from the hills that it runs through, and it carries it out to the river, creating that sand point that we were just on.
Birding is really popular in this park. Over 260 species have been recorded in this park alone. We're along a migratory corridor along the Mississippi River.
We have 58 drive-in campsites, 19 are electric. We also have 6 cart-in sites and 2 backpack sites.
We are standing on top of Rattlesnake Bluff. So this is on the westernmost edge of the park. This is a really, really special place in the park. Not too many people know about it, and it's very difficult to get here. You know, when people think of Minnesota State Parks, they think of the North Shore, they think of Itasca, they think of the beautiful parks that we have up north. This is definitely one of the up-and-coming parks in the Minnesota park system.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by the Minnesota DNR, Pearson Salted Nut Roll, Coors Light, and by Totem Resorts.
Up next, we head to Wisconsin to meet a music producer with a little different approach. His favorite tones come from the natural world.
Every day, Charlie Riddle's morning routine starts with the same, shall we say, tempo.
Early in the morning, I get my cup of coffee. I just kind of come out here and I get myself set up.
With his microphone in hand, he starts to search for his melody.
That's my guy. It's either a bluebird or an indigo bunting.
Charlie is not your average musician. He records birds every day, then creates what he calls bird songs.
It's just so much to hear, and once you start listening to it, it's really, there's a lot of creative things and beautiful natural things that are going on.
But the birds aren't just the inspiration for his songs. They are the composer.
To me, the bird he's the artist of the tune. I interpret almost like nature's natural orchestra, is what it is.
So Charlie points his recorder to the trees and waits until he finds the call that makes him tick.
What I'll do is I'll take like a call like that, and I'll put it into the computer, and just that one call, and I'll just kind of go over it, and I'll start the tempo click, and I'll find out what tempo that call is in.
His musician background helps him to fine-tune what the melody will be.
Each one's different. Each one's got its own style, got its own sound.
Then he adds the bass and the chords and sends it off to his band so they can add their parts.
Do you care if it's harmony or if it's unison? Yeah. I can record some tracks. I'll noodle.
But Charlie already knows what he's listening for.
Usually I just kind of send it off to them and give them the idea, here's what I want to do.
Even an avid birder likes how they keep it natural.
I like how he does it without altering or cutting up the song. He finds the music in the bird song, and then he doesn't alter it.
That is Charlie's ultimate goal, to get people noticing and appreciating the wildlife surrounding them.
Why would you ever think of going into someplace like the Boundary Waters and you put in your earbuds and listen to your music when you've got all this natural music all around you? Blue jay call. All of a sudden you go, hey, that's that song. But it's the blue jay. You're paying attention. You're hearing the blue jay. And that's what I would like to see more of what people are doing, is getting out and listening to the birds.
And when it all comes together, it's truly a musical masterpiece.
love it. It's a live concert every day in the woods.
For sure. Well, that about does it for us. We will see you back here next week.
In the meantime, don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433.